Okay, so there's three very important things to consider when thinking about getting your first beginner bike. The first and foremost important thing is to think of what kind of biking history you have. So if you grew up doing something remotely close to dirt motorcycles, like dirt bikes, snowmobiles, jet skis, ATVs, something like that, you'll be able to learn how to ride a motorcycle significantly faster than somebody who grew up, with an art background or a video game background that never touched grass a day in their life. And so, the reason why that's important is because if you try to hop on a motorcycle and you've never touched anything remotely close to it, you'll obviously learn a little bit slower because you're a little bit more fearful. It's a new concept for you, so you have to learn, basically from zero. But if you are able to transfer some of that knowledge from like dirt bikes or something like that, you'll be able to go into motorcycles a little bit faster, which means that you'll be able to start off on a little bit higher CC. That way you don't get too bored, but you're also riding within your limits. Riding within your limits is obviously one of the most important things. That's how you hurt yourself or others if you choose to ride outside of your limits. So when considering getting your first bike, that should be the first thing that you should consider. The second thing to consider, how tall are you and how much do you weigh? And the reason why that is so important is because when you ride your motorcycle, you don't turn your handlebars to ride your bike, okay? Or to steer the motorcycle. You don't turn your handlebars left to go left, okay? How it works is you lean your body weight over, and then that's what causes the motorcycle to turn. You do not, it doesn't work that way where you just turn the handlebars and the whole bike goes that direction unless you're at slow speeds. The reason why body weight matters is if you're like a 250, 300 pound person on top of a smaller bike, like a 250 or a 125, you're in the middle of a corner, you're more likely, not to say that you are going to, not to say that you can't do that, but you are more likely to do what's called low sliding, which is basically where the motorcycle slides out from underneath you, okay? That's called low sliding, and you're more likely to do that if you are a heavier set person on a significantly smaller bike. These bikes come with a very specific width on the back tire, okay? So 125s, the back tire is significantly thinner. So if, again, you're on the opposite end, actually, if you are 100 pounds and you hop on like a Hayabusa or a Gixxer 1000, you're more likely to do what's called high siding, which is a lot more dangerous, where if you are in the middle of a corner, you basically, instead of the bike sliding out from underneath you, you flip over the top of the bike, and that's where a huge amount of injuries happen, and those ones are a lot more dangerous. So that's why weight matters. Height, obviously, when you're riding your motorcycle, you want to be able to touch the ground. So, you can get basically any bike lowered. You can get lowering conversion kits, or, you can just pick a bike that's already naturally low. This bike right here is already really low for a lot of shorter people. But, yeah, you can still get these things lowered really well. And so that's why height and weight matters. The third and very important thing to consider when looking into getting your first beginner bike is, what style riding do you want to do? Okay, this is very important because it helps you decide what style you should be like really looking into. If you want to do like a cross country road trip, you're not going to want to do that on like a dirt bike. So don't even go that direction, because that's not going to be a very comfortable ride. Or if you want to do more like, daily commuting, you're not going to want a bike that requires a lot of maintenance, like a Ducati or something like that, So it really just depends. You have to like really look at what style riding you want to do, and then from there make your best decision. Okay, I'm going to explain to you why this is my favorite bike. There will be another video about why this is my favorite bike, but for me, I daily this bike on a regular daily basis. Everywhere I go, my bike is with me. So I like this bike because the maintenance is unbelievably low. There's like basically no maintenance at all whatsoever. All you have to do is take care of your chain, take care of the oil, obviously your tires. That's basically it. And then every 15 to 20,000 miles, you do like a valve adjustment or whatever. There's going to be plenty of videos about those things later, but you know, yeah, the maintenance is the lowest it could possibly be on any other bike. There's like basically nothing wrong with this bike ever. There's no recalls. Never heard of a single recall on one of these. You know, Kawasaki's, they're great. They're great bikes. There's an unbelievable amount of recalls on them though, you know, constantly. You know, and there's always some type of electronic issues with Yamahas. I love those bikes. They're great. It's just the maintenance and the random problems and the random errors and things. The reason why these bikes are great is because, again, they're so reliable and all that stuff. And so, since I use this thing on a regular daily basis, I can just use this thing kind of willy-nilly and not have to be like, oh, God, I got to go work on my electrical issues today or whatever. You know what I mean? It's super nice, very convenient. So, when you're first considering getting your very first bike, that's the 3 most important things to consider. Yeah.
All right, let me know all your questions in the comment section.